Hi, Patrick.
Hello there.
Hi.
How are you?
Pretty good. I'm excited for you. You got your keys yesterday and I saw your pictures. I can't wait to hear what has happened since you got that. And let's see, we don't have anybody else on yet, just the two of us. I think people will be jumping on. Let's see, Tracy.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is the sound
I
okay?
can hear you. Yeah,
Hi.
I can hear you.
Okay,
Hang on,
great.
Oh yeah, Tracy. Hi there.
Hola.
Good
Hi,
to see you.
Tracy.
Hi. Hi, how are you, Lillian?
Fine,
Second.
fantastic. I'm excited to have you on this Zoom call.
Me too. You're so tan.
I know, my daughter was like, my gosh, Mom, your shoulders and even your hands, everything is so even and tanned. I go, I know, I got so much sun while I was in Mexico. It was, as much as I stayed
Good for
in the
you.
States, I was going to the beach pretty much every day. So it was, yeah, it was fun.
Nice.
Somebody else says, we got Rupina. It was great to see you. I love your background, Tracy.
Oh, thank you.
It's like the sacred
My mirror and a
circle.
dreary day outside.
Yeah, and then the turquoise blue. Rupina, thank you for joining us. Wonderful.
Hi, Rupina.
Hi, how are you? Great.
Wow, I'm so excited. Okay, so Patrick, so why don't we go ahead and get started? Tell us, soup to nuts, when they gave you the keys yesterday, because yesterday was your official first day of your community home in Miami. Actually, what's the name of the island again, right off the coast
It's
of
called
Miami?
Belle Meade Island. Yeah.
Belle Meade Island. And so
Belle Meade, yeah.
Belle Meade. Okay.
Belle Meade, MEADE. So Belle Meade Island.
So maybe you could type it for us in the chat here to everyone, so everyone has the exact spelling. And yeah, so just go ahead. If you need to do a share screen, let me know. And we're here open. We're all ears.
all good. Yes. So we are excited. I walked in yesterday. They got the keys on Friday, and I was actually driving from Virginia to Miami. So I spent 17 hours in the car. But got here, and now we have a space. It's in a beautiful little neighborhood, kind of like a gated neighborhood, but not super gated. It's nice. Like literally you walk out the back door and there's a dock, so we can have a boat pull up to our house, which is a manifestation actually of several years ago when I was driving to Unleash the Power Within from Miami Beach. I was like, someday maybe I'll pull up my boat up to my house, and now I can actually do it. So,
Wow.
So we actually have that. Don't have the boat yet, but that will come. So it's pretty big. It has two kind of big living rooms. There's an extra kind of side apartment, which is like you go downstairs and there's a side apartment that has its own kitchen, own bathroom. It's a studio, but it's still pretty large. And then there's three of us in the main house. Tomorrow we're doing our first potluck, so we're bringing in people over for Labor Day just to kind of connect, very informal for the first gathering. And then next weekend, I think we're going to do our friend's having a birthday party. So he's going to use the house for his birthday party. So slowly but surely, we're just going to start to put energy into the house. If you can hear, it's currently pouring down rain here. I think lighting's important. So I want to go get some cool lighting. We're going to try, there's a lot of ideas I've had from other houses too, where it's like, we have artists in our community, so could be really cool to partner with an artist, get free art, and have them display the art in our house. So they get a free place to display it while people come in and out. They can sell it, but we get free artwork for our walls. So that's one thing that I'm probably
I have
gonna
a
start
photographer
doing.
that would probably love to, she does all beautiful underwater photography. I'll send you
Okay.
her info. You could check it out if you want to.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. We could even do themes, like change it up in the next month. Lots of different ideas.
Patrick,
But
I'm going to mention
yeah,
to you about the artwork. You can have a featured artist that will be in the background of the videos that you do as you're doing maybe for that week, for a week at a time. And then it could be a collaboration so that obviously they're getting exposure. There's a potential of selling that piece of artwork. You let your audience know. And because it's a joint venture, now when they go to sell it, they do a 25% like joint venture fee, if you will. So they make 75%, you make 25%, and that way they don't have to pay you money to promote, you know, their art, that kind of thing, but it's mutually beneficial. And then you always have a beautiful changing artistic background that's, you know, in your Zoom calls, which will look really beautiful.
I love it. Yeah, definitely open to all these ideas, and have it be a space for other people to shine. Like that's the point of like having the space, is not for me to just run my own events, for other people to run their events. And I'm excited. It's a little nerve-wracking, but that's the thing, is like you have to expand who you are to step into that role. So we signed the lease. I walked into the house. I have a bedroom. So I feel it's actually very interesting. Like every time that I've changed something big in my life, like moving to Miami or moving to a new apartment, you have this like nervous, anxious energy, which is normal. And then you push through that, and then you expand, and that becomes your life, right? So it's like people sometimes like stop themselves from actually taking action because of that nervous, anxious energy. But on the other side of that is a whole beautiful life.
So did
Pushing through
you,
the fear.
Yes.
Yeah, fear is just the flip side of excitement, right?
well,
So
you know what, Rupina,
Correct.
I'm so glad that you said that, because I want to share a little story that I think will help everyone here that I learned early on. Luckily, I learned it early on in my career. So I was in my 20s, and it was like shortly after I graduated from college, and now I had my own mortgage company that I had out of necessity. That's another story, but I ended up starting out of my little one-bedroom apartment a mortgage company that I grew into a mortgage bank over like a couple years. And so now I'm going to, you know, my landlord happened to be the owner of Century 21 Berg here in Huntington Beach. So in conversation, he said, listen, I would love for you to come address my brokers and agents and speak to them about foreclosures, because you're very knowledgeable in the foreclosure market. So I said, I would love to. So now bear in mind, I'm like maybe 25, 26. I look like I'm in junior high or high school. You know, I look very, very young. And all these brokers and agents, the average age is like 50 to 60 years old. So they're like, I think they're even older than my parents at this point. So long story short, I go to speak, and I notice that as I walk up to the podium to start talking, I notice normally I have like a delayed reaction, but in this particular instance, I didn't have a delayed reaction of nerves after I spoke. It was starting to build up, kind of like an anxious, nervous energy as I was waiting for people to get seated. And then I just kind of closed my eyes for a minute, and then I literally visualized a switch, and I switched it from being nervous energy. The switch was actually, instead of a switch being up and down, I did it like left to right. So from nervous to excitement and enthusiasm. And then in my head, I just said, I'm pumped, I'm excited, I'm gonna rock this. I'm pumped, I'm excited, I'm gonna rock this. And it was the same energy, but instead of thinking I'm getting nervous, I'm getting anxious, my hands are starting to shake, I'm like, no, I flipped the switch, and I'm pumped, I'm excited, I'm gonna rock this. And then guess what? Instead of that energy sucking energy from me, it was actually a supportive energy that the moment I opened my eyes, I was like, cool. I was cool. I was now genuinely excited. I didn't have to fake it. I was genuinely excited. I delivered, you know, the information that I had, never gave it a second thought about being nervous or anything. And then afterwards, everybody, you know, of course, everyone was like, wow, you know, I've never heard, there's some information you gave that I never heard before, blah, blah, blah. No one detected that I was even nervous at the beginning. They just said, you were so enthusiastic, you were so excited, dynamic. And I'm going, wow, this could have gone the other way if I would have left it as nervous
Right.
energy. But I
Absolutely.
literally
Yeah.
visualized in my head, flipping the switch, and then I just told myself, I am excited. I'm pumped. I'm gonna rock it. And that was it. So
Yep.
I just wanted to share that with you guys because everybody can use that at any time.
Absolutely.
So feel the
Absolutely. I think it's so much in the meaning. I think it's the meaning we ascribe to events, right? Like, I mean, you can call it nervousness or you can call it excitement, and then your body will respond accordingly. So, yeah,
absolutely, yeah,
totally. Thanks
absolutely.
for sharing that.
You're welcome. So continue on. Patrick, were you the actual person who put together this community house so that you were the one who signed the lease?
I am on the lease. However, it was my friend Giselle who found it. It felt very aligned in general. I actually truly believe that Spirit helped us create this opportunity because we met just a few weeks ago. And then I was actually gone. I haven't been in Miami, and she was like, I found this beautiful property. She was able to create this experience for us in just a couple weeks. So it is my and her opportunity together, but I couldn't have been done without meeting the right person. So it's perfect. And then she apparently consulted the Akashic records for me too, and said it was like it was good for us to work together. And so far everything is turning out, and I think we have the same vision for creating, like, we still want to have fun and things like that, but it's very conscious, intentional events where people like expand their consciousness, expand their life, expand everything. And we want to be doing like Tony Robbins style events, Kundalini events, business masterminds, all sorts of things like that. So
That's wonderful. Well, I might have a few people that I can connect you that will give you a platform and a network of people to plug into to share your message. So
that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think this is very unique. I don't think many people are doing anything like this,
you're the
especially in
only one I know.
Miami. Yeah. And there are similar things happening up in New York, but it's not like this like expansion part. It's like, yes, there's community houses, but it's like also like putting us out in the right environment for us to keep each other accountable for our growth.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's really powerful. So
Yes. So you were talking about that, the assemblage. That's what you're alluding to. I checked it out, just the layout of the building, and it's really cool. It's a totally cool concept, and I could definitely see that happening on a larger scale with different buildings in a community. But I mean, you would laugh at the Mind movie I had a few months ago, because the same thing, the house, like there's literally a house in Florida, because that's where I was thinking of, on the Intracoastal with the boat in the backyard. And like, I was just envisioning like people like coming out, and everyone's like meditating in the backyard and just having all of these beautiful different gatherings and healing and doing all kinds of different things, just helping each other and just lifting each other up. And it's crazy. So when this came up, I was just like, wow. Like,
It's happening faster. That's why in the group I put, this is happening. It's as we speak, it's already happening. And so, and it was just so, it was more than heartwarming. It was like heartwarming and encouraging and exciting and almost euphoric to hear when Patrick said, oh, wait a minute, on the 4th of next month, I actually am getting the keys. We're doing this now. So it's not like we have to wait a month, 6 months, a year. No. So when Dr. Joe says that there is, the infinite realm of possibilities, there is a universal reality where what it is that you want actually exists. And so, and Patrick actually embodies that and shows us, oh yeah, it's called a community house. And I've been doing this for 5 years. He's been doing this for 5 years. I was like, no way, never even heard the term community house before. So I did switch the computer to share screen so any of you can share the screen. So Patrick, if there's something that you want to share on your computer, Tracy, if you want to share that Mind movie, and then Patrick, I think all of us would absolutely love and adore to maybe have you take your computer and share, give us kind of a guided tour of kind of what your place looks like, whatever you're comfortable with. I think that would be fun and exciting, and anything else that you're willing to share with us.
For sure. I don't have a lot of stuff put together yet, but let me see. Give me a second while I transfer some stuff to my computer. But basically, like everything that you just said, like it's totally possible. We can do this now. Like if you guys want, I think Lillian, you might actually come over for a few days to Miami possibly. And we can start to do that event now. Like it doesn't have to wait. We can, obviously there's a next level, but we can like literally bring people, we can run an event for a weekend gathering. The house isn't super huge to like host a bunch of people, but we could like run the event there and the other people get Airbnbs in town for the time being and stuff like that until we build like an even bigger property where we even have other stuff. But I was thinking also like, yeah, we run an event and the morning we do a conference style, go around the room, teach each other about Dr. Joe work or Tony Robbins or how to build a website or whatever spiritual and practical together.
Yeah.
And then I get a boat to pick us up and we go out and watch sunset on the boat. Like we can, like, why not, right?
Why not? Right.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Me too.
And I do have like really great chefs that want to cook for us healthy food. And I think that's important right now. Like the world is so divided and I don't believe people really understand what health is in a very large way. So we can have people come over, take pictures, create this environment and this energy of like sharing and eating healthy and enjoying each other's company. And then we put that on our social media and show other people like, hey, there's a whole world out there that you might not even know exists. And we can show people that that's possible for them. So.
I love it.
I'm all for that.
Holistic living.
Yeah, I'm a functional medicine coach, so I'm all into that. Yeah.
Wow. So that would be like an incredible foundational way of living and in order for you to operate, I mean, all of us for sure, but you know, especially in functional medicine and the people that you're guiding and letting them know that this is a reality that exists. And if you want it, it's more within your reach than you
absolutely
possible. And you can improve your way of living and increase your vibrational frequency so that you're, you know, 100% of the time you're happy, you're excited, you're positive, you're motivated, you're surrounded by like-minded people, you know, the whatever.
And being an embodiment of that work, right? So I mean, because functional medicine is really all lifestyle medicine and just showcasing that.
Look at how beautiful this
Lillian, you're buffered for a second, but
look at this gorgeous, oh my gosh, this is
so
gorgeous.
That's our front yard.
Your front
so
yard.
lush. Yeah.
This is our backyard. So that's obviously
wow.
So the dock is there. We gotta manifest a barbecue because this one's not quite there yet, but we're gonna manifest that to happen. This is our pool. So that's pretty cool. Well, this is one of the living rooms. So this is like the main event space. There's not a lot of furniture in there, kind of on purpose. I think we're gonna get more like pillows and kind of like a functional room to do yoga, meditation in here. So that people can connect. Let's see what else I got. That's the pool. We're envisioning like a cacao ceremony in the backyard so that we can kind of have people come together, and then we have a fire pit. Let me see if I have anything else right now. But like one thing that I think people underestimate is the power of watching this, and also like watching YouTube channels about what people have done. And because to create the lifestyle that I created, I actually needed to expand my mindset and expand my subconscious to possible.
Consciousness has
so I started watching YouTube videos about people being digital nomads, traveling around the world. Exactly. So this is it's been raining a little bit, but it's pretty cool. And literally like right out there to the right is Biscayne Bay. So we just get a boat to pick us up or get some jet skis and then go straight out to the ocean, which is totally doable and possible. So But yeah, you have to expand your consciousness to say that, okay, this exists. Now to take the action. Like we know that it exists. Like how do we actually take the action to turn it into reality?
Yeah.
So
So Patrick, from germination of idea to fruition, what exactly, if you had to re-engineer the steps to manifest this, give us in a nutshell exactly the formula.
that's a good question. I'm actually trying to put together my own transformation coaching package right now to kind of understand, because my journey, like I think I can help people do this in a lot shorter fashion, but it does take a lot of internal work, right? It's like it's always the talk of like your internal world reflects your external world.
Absolutely.
And when I quit my job in 2016, I had this vision of traveling around the world. But I think Dr. Joe talks about this, like you have this like person you put out to the world, and then you have this internal person of who you are. And most people, those people are not the same. So I knew that I wanted to create this lifestyle. So I started doing it. I started traveling. I started being a nomad. But internally, I wasn't quite there yet. I was down here where I was beating myself up in my head. I was thinking negative thoughts, even though I was actually doing the lifestyle. And it was even worse before I quit. So like, that's a whole nother story. But over the course of the last few years, doing meditations, doing Tony Robbins events, doing Mind Valley, doing all these things, the person I put out to the world and the person I was inside came together. Yeah. And I think that's really important to, once they come together, now you're living in alignment and like, this is who I am. I do travel around the world. I do create community housing. Correct.
Yeah.
And just one last thing, like I was actually in Miami. I brought 15 people here to go to Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within. I literally was doing it. Like they were actually here. Like I had 15 people in a group chat and we met for dinner and we were going to the event together and all sorts of stuff. I didn't yet believe that I was the person that did it. I didn't, I was like, I'm doing it, but I don't believe it inside of myself yet. Right. So, but you have to take the action in order to believe it. And then once I took the action, I started to believe that I was the person. And actually there's a song called This Is Me on the Greatest Showman soundtrack. And I listened to that over and over and over and over again until I believe this is me. This is who I am.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome. Yeah. You know, you get that like, who am I to be doing? No. Yeah. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah. Well,
it's that insane ego,
right? Like, who am I to play small? Right.
Correct.
Yeah. Or it's even not even a merging of the old self and the future self, but it's almost a dissolution and a death of the old self, right? Like you have to die to your old self in order for the new one to emerge.
Right.
Yeah.
The person who you thought you were.
Yeah.
And along that journey, I went from being like a nerdy software engineer to a community builder, and it was a lot of wanting energy. I would have died to have the house that I have today 5-10 years ago, but it was a wanting energy. And then the desperation of that, then it's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to get it.
Right. That wanting inherently acknowledges that you don't have it and the lack of it. And
you're in separation. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So over time, I started to learn more, learn about my belief system, learn about my reticular activating system, learned how to raise my own energy, learned how to do taxes and do all the things that you have to do in this 3D world to make it all work. But there's a lot, and I think that people it's not an easy jump to go from a 9 to 5 where you're only being a software engineer, all this stuff, and you have to show up, and you have to be nice to people, and you have to do all these things every single day.
So Patrick, oh, I'm sorry. Someone was going to say something. Okay. So Patrick, I want to really bring attention to this. I think a lot of people struggle with that leap from being in that left brain mindset of 2 + 2 = 4. It has to make sense. Everything has to be planned out, systemized, organized, plan of execution. You know what I mean? It's a very methodical, systemized way of thinking, because you are a software engineer and engineers, I was married to an engineer. 2 of my 3 kids are engineers. So I understand that mindset really, really well. So, and a lot of people struggle with that, just the left brain thinking in the mind and not balancing it. One thing that I think Dr. Joe is so brilliant at is having us acknowledge, accept, embrace, having an open heart, listening to our open heart, and really anchoring ourselves where our heart is now connected to our brain, so that you don't just have the brain operating by default. So talk a little bit about that and how you were able to master the ego, put that at bay, and then connect your heart to your mind so that you allow those heart's desires, which are legitimately there for your higher good and the greater good of all. You're not the only one who's benefiting from the things that it is that you want. So you successfully connected the two, and the outward manifestation is what we are now witnessing. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't think I was conscious of it at that level when I jumped. However, I actually want to play a video real quick because I think it was one of the videos that got me to do the jump, and it's Steve Harvey. Have you ever seen this video, Steve Harvey jump?
No, I mean, I know he has a video about.
So.
Is it the one where he talks about the parachute?
Yeah, the parachute.
Oh,
So
okay. I think if it's the same one I'm thinking, that's an amazing video. Please do share it.
So there was a few videos that I realized that raised my energy and got me to overcome my comfort zone. And I'll share more of these things over time in our chat, and if anybody wants to do more of these calls. But one of them was this video. So give me a second and I'll share it.
You want to be successful. Here's the thing you have to do. You have to jump. You got to dash off that cliff, and you got to stay as far as you can. Dressed like this. Y'all in London. They flying by, you know. It's because they parachute open. The only way to get your parachute, the only you got to jump. Now here's the problem.
Yeah.
There we
There
go.
she is.
There she's back. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Lillian.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I don't know how.
There we go.
Sorry, I guess my bandwidth just dropped the internet connection.
All good. Hopefully the recording still will have everything.
Yeah, it will.
But that video helped me make that leap, and I can look at it back on that now and say that's exactly how it happened. Like, you made the leap, and I broke up with a girlfriend. I left my job in New York City. I everything that could have like changed in my life did. Literally everything. And internally, I kind of like was beating myself up my head. That's like the rocks that he's like talking about, right? It's like, I was like, should I have done this? Should I have like left? Should I have brought that girlfriend with me? Should I have done all these things? And I probably could have done this a lot faster if I had somebody like myself that had gone there before, but I'm like kind of navigating through life trying to figure out like this way. And so it's taking me 5 years to get to this point. But I would never say that I'm not grateful for all those experiences, because I've been living, while it's like maybe my bank account doesn't reflect it yet, like my life is like beautiful. Like, I love the fact that I can get on a plane and go to Mexico. I love that I've been able to live in Europe in the summertime and go to Bali for months at a time and things like that. So I think that's the important message, is like, some people like want to jump, like, oh, if I had tried to jump from 9 to 5 software engineer to what I'm doing today, it wouldn't have been the same person, and it wouldn't have happened that way. So I had to go down that path of like, now I'm ready to step into this role. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is
All
that
good.
it's kind of, instead of a bell curve, it's an upward infinite curve, because you just start picking up speed as your internal muscles of being able to master your ego and all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas that you're shooting on yourself. You're mastering being better at squashing that to the point where it very rarely comes up. It has to be your ego has to get a lot sneakier in order to successfully get your attention and keep you bound to your familiar past, because you have successfully gone beyond the ego. And that's what, Dr. Joe talks about, self-mastery. When you master something, it doesn't mean that you're the most prolific professional expert in the world in whatever subject. It simply means that you have mastered yourself to the point where you don't allow the ego to rule the roost any longer. And you've been successful at mastering that. That is what real self-mastery is. And so you're embodying that.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, as you continue to do that, it's just like any other muscle. If I start picking up weights today, I'm not going to really have muscle definition today. Or if I start to do the plank today, maybe I can only do 2 minutes today. But if I do the plank every day for the next 2 to 3 months, I can go from 2 minutes to 10 minutes to maybe even 15 minutes in a 3-month time period, just by adding 15 seconds a day. My core is going to be significantly stronger in 90 days than it would be today, just day one. And, it's an exponential thing that happens. So that's what you're experiencing, and we're experiencing with you.
yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, like I think this is important to share, because like I think I've had this big vision of kind of seeing humanity live in an entirely different way by the end of my lifetime. Like, and I'm hoping to make my dent in this as much as I can. There's like, I already live in this world that I want to see. I already live there. Like, I live in a community of awesome people that are supportive, that want to be entrepreneurs and are loving and kind to each other. And there's not that much fear in my world. But I was in New York City recently and just saw how much fear is in so many other people's worlds. And I'm grateful to be back in Florida, where there's not as much of that here. Doesn't mean we don't have to stand up for what we believe in, because I think I want to see freedom. I want to see happiness. I want to see joy in everybody's life, and able to live the life that they want to live. So the more that I can help show the way, and live, I think it's also important for us to live an awesome life ourselves. We should be having fun along the way too. So
Yeah, 100%. Light the way.
yeah, light the way.
Light the way. So I'm really curious, because you said there's about 30 houses on the island. And so it's very, very possible within the next several years that those 30 houses turn into, a total Dr. Joe community. So that whole island, Belle Meade, what an awesome name too, for that to take place. So I just checked before we got on the call, and I saw that from Naples, you're only 2 hours away. Like, Miami is 2 hours away from Naples, because I'm going to go to Marco Island. And then I told you, after the Dr. Joe AFU, I'm staying until the 14th. So right now I'm booked the whole time at the JW Marriott. So all I would have to do is potentially, cancel 1 or 2 days and then make my way over. I have a cousin who actually has a place in Naples, and her primary is on Brickell in Miami. So, and I'm supposed to see her on Saturday. So I'm thinking, it's like, well, maybe I could just come. We're supposed to meet Saturday. Maybe I can just come back with her to Miami, spend the night, one night, so I get to see my cousin-in-law. And then the next day, maybe go to Belle Meade, kind of check the island out, check out your community house, maybe spend a night there, and then make my way back to Naples so I can continue on with my exploration in Naples. But do you have an idea as to what like, are they track homes on the island where they're all like, basically you have, 2-3 different styles of homes throughout the island, or are they all custom homes?
I think they're all custom homes.
I thought maybe.
It's not a huge like, I'm just looking also. These are definitely not cheap homes. Let's take a look real here. But with our collective manifestation, anything can happen, right? So I don't know which house this is, but 7.3 million. But like a lot of them have pools and stuff like that. And there is a bigger community. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay. So we're right here on this island.
Tiny.
So it's definitely not a big community on the island itself.
Oh, I see that.
But there is a whole neighborhood around it. I don't know why this is going so slow right now. So in addition to this island, there's a really nice community right here. So this whole community, and I'm sure that some of these houses are probably a lot cheaper than the ones on the island. So potentially, like, we could have a few people that have island houses, and then a few people that have other houses in the neighborhood, and then we can all like do our Dr. Joe meditations and all sorts of stuff there. And then the nice thing is, like, we're literally, let's see, we're only, like, I'm 10 miles away in my South Beach apartment where I am right now. And then there's a bridge to get over to South Beach and Miami Beach right here. So you can get over to the beach and be on the beach in probably 10-15 minutes. And the other thing I was thinking is that this road, Biscayne Boulevard, there's so much potential here. There's a lot of open like front store real estate and things like that. And there's not a ton of nice coffee shops and stuff like that there. So like if we got this kind of like this whole area of Miami kind of needs like a good renovation. So I feel like if we got some people to move into this area and have this collective mindset, we could get people that wanted to start coffee shops and start co-working spaces and other potential. And it wouldn't be as expensive as somewhere down like a little bit farther into like where everything's already built up. So
Can I ask you a question, Patrick?
Yeah.
Why did you choose Miami?
The reason I chose Miami originally was, I mean, I'm a city person in general. I love nature and things like that, but nature for too long, I like things to do. I like to be close to people. And I was living in New York, but I didn't want to be in New York when it was everything was going to shut down all last winter. It's gonna be cold. You're spending a lot of money on rent. And I had been to it kind of is like that manifestation idea where I had been to Miami and the thoughts were going through my head and I already had friends here. So, but when I was like, all right, where can I go and leave? So I literally packed up my car, got rid of everything in New York and drove south. And it felt like spirit was guiding me here, to be honest with you. So because I drove to Florida, I stayed with a friend for a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden a series of events happened that all of a sudden like an apartment opened up, and it just like was like, oh, well, I can go live there and it's easy, and everything just became easy. So it, like, even this house was actually pretty easy. Like all I had to do was like say yes and sign a piece of paper.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So every time things were easy, it felt good, and if it wasn't easy, then it doesn't feel good. So don't do it. So it felt easy to come here.
Got you.
Yeah.
I was just in Miami in July with my boys, so I was just curious, like, because I'm thinking of how developed it is there, and I was thinking of like, why not choose a place that was not so developed, a city, but something else where it would be a little less expensive. So now that I know that you had friends there and it just all flowed. So That's what
Yeah,
yeah.
it flowed. I don't think I need to be here forever. I think that, but I do think there's a lot of potential here. And the energy was such like a huge, there's a lot of energy here. And I needed that energy. Like some people I think can stay in a low energy place and lift everybody up, which I can do sometimes, but if you're around that energy all the time, it's like, okay, I'm not doing as well here. So I had to go to a place that had high energy so that I could then
Yeah.
radiate that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
And
I love Miami, and I need a place to wear my resort wear. So let's go.
let's go. And yeah, there's a ton of stuff happening here. But if we grow past Miami, and we don't necessarily want to do Miami, there's Fort Lauderdale that's really
Yeah.
great. Delray Beach. There's some other communities in South Florida. And then I envision this idea going past Florida for sure. Like Montana, Big Sky,
Yeah.
like ski houses out west,
Yeah.
things like that. But right now, my thought process is that I need a space that's relatively condensed to start getting enough. Like it's like a freight train, right? It's like you need to get the freight train moving. So there's all this energy that needs to happen to get the momentum. But once it's up to speed, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And that's a lot harder in a place that's like out in nature that people have to drive an hour or two or whatever. But here it's like I can just invite people over and then people show up. So it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very nice. And so I'm kind of curious as to what do the houses to the left and to the right and across the street, well, yeah, across the street from you look like, because those would be natural, like when I come over, if everything works out according to what I'm now planning, my first question would be, it's like, okay, well, yeah, let's meet the neighbors and let's say, hey, would any of you entertain, selling your homes? Would you entertain, leasing them out? Because, it's possible that they may want to, now that things are opening up and you're able to travel internationally, they may want to, leave, and maybe they want to lease their house, and then we could sublease, the house out. Like, we would take on the lease, but then we would sublet it out so that we can have the Dr. Joe, and we would, paint the vision to them, which they're going to notice that, wow, we're going to have really great energy in our home while we're gone. That'll help them because that'll give, cover the expense of that house and so forth. Again, it's a win-win situation for everyone.
Yeah. And I haven't met the neighbors yet, but some of the houses are really, really nice and big. And I think some of them are like old school, like I think our house was probably built in like the 60s or 70s or something like that. That's why they're going to renovate it. But so I think we could get a deal on some of these places. And one of the business models that was used at my community house in New York was he got a long lease so that the whoever owned the property still owns the property, but by having the long lease, they got a discount on the rent, and then he agreed to kind of renovate the property, and then the property owner is getting an increased value of their property because
the improvements
he was renovating the property, making it nicer and all sorts of stuff. He gets access to the property, more valuable property. He's still getting a discounted, but still enough to pay his mortgage. And then he gets to sell it in 5-10 years when the lease ends, if that so happens. So that's one way that we could do this too, is that maybe these people don't want to necessarily sell it, but they would be willing to lease it to us in that way too. So.
Patrick, how long is your lease now? Because I know you said the reason you got a steal is because they were doing zoning and that's going to take a year. And so you managed to score this, right?
Yes. So it's 6 months right now, but up to a year. So it's 6 months guaranteed that we have. So, which is actually perfect. Like it's going to be winter.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to want to get out of the Northeast and come down south. Like I think in a month or two, when it starts getting cold up there, like we're in a great spot. And it doesn't get cold. Like I think I was like a few days like last winter that I was like had to wear a jacket, but that was about it. But we can have up to a year, depending on when the permits go through right now and when they want to start actually renovating. But I think that that's plenty of time, as long as like calls like this continue to happen. We bring photographers, videographers over, create content, tell the story, show what's possible. Like that's that train getting up to speed so that either we stay in this house and we buy out the person that bought it, or we do the next one. So
When are you planning on having this, like having the photography, the videographers come in and do all that?
Soon, I hope. I'm still looking for, we got to find some people that are willing to do it. Where we have to start putting together a list of events. We're going to have people over tomorrow for just a potluck, just easy to kind of have people come hang out and see the property and start it being activated.
Just
Next
filming,
weekend, we're having some.
filming all of that, Patrick, just what you're doing right now, that potluck that you're doing tomorrow, just let people in, take them on that journey. It's kind of like a reality, TV show, if you will, and just kind of bring them into
Yep.
your world and say, listen, we just got the keys on Friday, Saturday we moved in, today we're doing a potluck. This is the concept that you created in your imagination, and this is what's actually playing out right now. This is where we're going. Who wants to join us? We've got a year that we get to be here. We either get to stay after a year, or we get to take, pick up and go and do it even bigger and better someplace else. But the point is, this is like right now. And so you don't need to wait for there's no need to wait. You can just start, with your cell phone or your laptop or with both, you
Good
can.
idea. Just like take video of what's going on as
Yes,
it's
what's going
happening.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just share from your perspective what's going on and how you're feeling about it, and how 5 years ago this was so out of your reach, but it was a dream that you had, and now it's like a co-creation that you created. And now we're here, we've got these calls. This is our second call, and we're going to do this in multiple areas. Like I said on the Facebook post, we're going to do this in multiple areas. You're going to watch. Yours was the first one that popped up. There's going to be a few others that are going to pop up. I'm actually in the midst of creating something similar here in Huntington Beach. I'd like to do something either in the harbor or downtown Huntington or Newport Beach, whatever I can, wherever the open door is, like you said. If it's meant to be, it'll be easy, it'll flow, it'll all fall into place. So yeah, I've created some pretty cool houses. The last house that I just sold in July, that was like a resort. That house, if I show you pictures, you're gonna go, oh my gosh. So for me to go to a hotel, it better be a nice hotel, because my home was like so incredible. And it was like a 6-bed, 4-bath home. So now it's like, okay, I'm willing to do this to create this type of environment and community. I think it would be an amazing dream come true. So here we are. And so people are going to see this, and you saw all the people on the comments on the post. People are like, they're open to doing this in the United States, outside of the United States, Mexico, Costa Rica, wherever, Europe. So they want to do this.
Yeah, like I said, like this is the life I've been living for 5 years, but I don't see a lot of it happening inside the United States yet. So we're kind of really breaking ground into some. Yeah, we're breaking ground as something new that people are doing, because there are community houses in Europe, there are community houses in different places, but we haven't seen it here as much. And I really like the idea of, like, really Belle Meade is a great neighborhood, I think, for us to do what you want to do and have, like, it's nice. There's a coffee shop close by. It's close to downtown, but not and close to the beach. I just think that we can do this really quickly, actually, since we've already got some momentum going, for sure.
Yeah, and I have a lot of entrepreneurial background and experience. I can start a business. It's the same as going to the supermarket and buying a pair of shoes. It's not really a big deal. And then for people who don't have that facility, once you let them know that, it's like, wait a minute, like the coffee shop, everybody thinks it's like, okay, the traditional way of doing it is you find somebody who has a passion for coffee shops and they start their coffee shop. But if there's enough of us that are interested in the coffee shop, you could have like a group of people who will buy, you start dividing that up, 5 ways, 10 ways, 20 ways, 30 ways. Now it's like a small amount of money. Let's say there's 20 of us that invest in this coffee shop. So now the cost to purchase it, to improve it, and to run it, it's all an investment divided by 20, the profits are going to be divided by 20 and all of that, it becomes, it's like a nice little investment because coffee shops are the rage anywhere you go. It doesn't matter whether it's US, Europe, Central, South America, Mexico. I don't know about India, but I know even in Japan where they're more, into tea, it's still a hot commodity. So you take a little coffee shop, which is, you can model it after like Starbucks. And now we all have this like cooperative ownership. That's what, believe it or not, people don't know that REI is like that. REI was started by a group of people. And so it's not something that's commonly talked about, but it's within our realm of possibilities. And it's good, people don't think of, like if you have a retirement account, a lot of people think it's like, okay, yeah, you can invest in stocks and so forth, but you can do a self-directed retirement account where now you choose, instead of you going to Vanguard or Fidelity and they tell you, okay, you have class A, class B, you have mutual funds, you have bonds, you have this. Like, no, you decide, I'm going to direct my funds instead of stock in those companies. I'm going to invest in this coffee shop. I'll be a 1/20th ownership interest in this coffee shop. And now your retirement fund, instead of investing into another company, it's a company that you're creating along with 19 other people. You're not necessarily a passive, you're somewhat passive, and you don't have to do the day-to-day operations because you guys all agree, okay, we're going to hire a manager. You'll have a lead person that will take care of more of the, the operations and so forth, but you don't have to work in the coffee shop. You don't have to manage the coffee shop. You don't have to operate it. You hire a manager, you copy you hire like 2-3 baristas, however many you need to staff the thing. And now the community now has a coffee shop. And now we all have a greater invested interest in this community. In addition to our living space, we've got this coffee shop because we're going to be investing in something anyhow. Like I said, if you have a retirement account, you can't just have it in the bank where you're getting 0.5% interest. That doesn't make any sense. So there are more possibilities, like I said, that are available to you than what meets the eye, but you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So that's why these conversations, I think, are so powerful. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's exactly what we can do. And there's so much opportunity in that area. There's really nice houses. Like, honestly, there's probably a lot of wealthy people that are currently there that would love to have more spaces to go hang out with, that they could go walk to, probably gyms and grocery stores and healthy food options. And that area particularly is like, it's not as built up. So I feel like it actually could be a good spot.
I also see these, I see like these big, something that I have a vision for, like these huge centers, right? To learn how to meditate and do all these things. Like there would be like the new like church or temple, right? Where the whole family goes. But to start out with, maybe there's also like the coffee shop ownership thing. Maybe there's a meditation center where you actually are teaching kids and families how to meditate, how to center yourself, how to, raise your level of consciousness to the point that you're becoming aware. I mean, because that's what's happening. And there's so many people that are just kind of, they're awakening and they're just like, what now?
Exactly.
So
there's a great movie called Astral City. I think it's on Amazon if you want to watch it. And it kind of shows you how this whole world works, where we have this earth plane and then we go up and like go to the spirit plane and our spirit can get healed. But the reality is too, we need those healing centers that are in that movie in the spirit realm, in this realm. So we just don't have it yet. So we're manifesting it, exactly what you're talking about. Like we can start with my backyard, and then we do enough people, then we actually go rent a physical space in town and things like that. So, and I do want to like get out of city. There's did I tell you about the Ohm Center? I think I did on the last call. That's in it's in Homestead.
Oh,
and
you mentioned it.
Yeah. So in Homestead, which is about an hour drive away from here, you can, that has beautiful, much bigger property than we're currently in, like an estate where they're running festivals on the property. There's going to be, actually, if you want to come down for Halloween, I think they're doing a festival on that property for Halloween. And those type of things are possible not too far away. And I think that's the key right now, is really building up your local area. And then once we build up that, we can go and expand again to the rest of the world. But really, it's like the same thing as Man in the Mirror, like look at myself first, raise my own energy, raise my own, and get myself dealt with first before we go out into the world. So let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, I love the idea of having the coffee shop, where in the coffee shop, and my assumption is that, you know, it's a coffee shop, but you'll have like green matcha lattes, and you'll have passion fruit tea. And for people who don't drink coffee, there's the teas and so forth. But having it so that in that same building, if you will, there's also like a meditation place where you can go have your tea either before or after your meditation, and then you go, you know, have that little meditation space, and then make that space work for you so that, you know, 24/7, there's no reason for that meditation space to ever be closed, really, so that you can be doing meditations at 4 in the morning, at 1 in the morning. You know, if you're leasing it, you're paying for the use 24/7, you know, 30 days at a time. If you own it, you own it, it's in entirety. So there's no reason for it to be.
That was in my mind's movie. Sorry.
Yeah, you know.
Sorry,
Love it.
And you know, we're
Yeah, and then we can get up and do pineal gland meditations. If we can't sleep, we go meditate together in the middle of the night. So which happens all the time for me, that I need to like.
Yeah, we may want to do a meditation that starts at midnight and it goes till 6 in the morning. We all know the benefits of like, you know, when you meditate, you're actually restoring your body. People say it's like, well, if I do that, I won't have time to sleep. I go, what people don't realize is when you meditate, your body is actually rejuvenating, restoring. It is getting a lot of the same benefits that you get from sleeping, sometimes even to a greater degree, which is why when we go to like Dr. Joe's 7-day advanced events or his 3-day advanced follow-ups, you don't need as much sleep, because in meditation, you're getting that restoration. It's your ego that tells you, I need 6 hours of sleep. I need 9 hours of sleep. I need 7. If I do, that's all. It's like, ego, shut up. No, that's not true. If you just allow, because you're getting healed. Even there are times where you're getting healed and you're not aware that you're being healed. Oh my gosh, that house. I love that. It looks like a 10-pointed star, maybe. That is really cool. That's also in Belle Meade?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. Okay, so no, this is in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So this is about 15 or 20 minutes outside of Tulum. And this is called they call it the Temple of Light. Similar concept. I'm trying to call it like lighthouse or something like that, but the idea is also similar, and there are people already doing this. So like I literally went to a dinner party at this house. I don't have any more pictures, but if you turn yourself 180 degrees around, the ocean is right there. Like it's literally on the ocean.
Is this a Dr. Joe community?
This is
or
not a Dr. Joe community, just a bunch of light workers that are interested.
Cool.
But this is another example of something that's already happening. So if you've ever been to Tulum, which if you haven't been to Tulum, I highly recommend it. It's just drive up this road, and it's about 15 minutes up the road that everybody drives on to get in and out of Tulum, and it's right there on the ocean.
Oh my gosh. So when I go back to Cancun, I'm gonna, because you know, Tulum is only an hour and a half from Tulum. That is really quite beautiful.
Yeah, and they're already doing it. I think that the one thing is I'm not quite sure of their vision. So I think the vision is really important, and creating the website and understanding like what you're trying to create, because like that intention is so powerful. And I definitely see a lot of stuff that we already talked about on this call coming together, and I'm hoping that I can help them really solidify that vision so we can all kind of collaborate together, and like we don't have to do it all ourselves, like, but we can connect with other people that are already doing it. So
Collaboration. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a collaboration. So everybody, you know, when you have the collective bringing their talents, their passions all to, to the table, then all the gaps are filled. And then it's fun and easy for everybody, because then everybody's like contributing. And then this thing that is in potential waveforms of energy, the particles start to, just are doing this call, believe it or not. The particles from where they were before, they rearranged into waveforms of energy. And now new particles are starting to come into place as our awareness increases, and we become, we recognize and realize that this is definitely within the realm of possibilities. Not only have you done it, Patrick, but it's within our reach too. And now we're becoming aware of all sorts of other possibilities, which just brings light, from our consciousness to what it is that we truly want in our heart's desire. The particles, they start accumulating from that waveform and start rearranging themselves to what it is that we want. And that's why we're creating this as we speak.
Exactly.
So that's why these Zooms are so powerful.
And I think that before we end, I just found a Dr. Joe manifestation meditation. If you guys are up for it,
Yeah.
I did a meditation yesterday, like just to be with 13 other people on a Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
I know it worked. Like I felt so much energy afterwards for like 3 or 4 hours even too. So it works.
You're a mind reader, because I was going to tell you the last call that we did, that meditation that we did with I can't remember what the song was that you picked, which was phenomenal. It was like I felt so much energy in that meditation. So I was going to suggest if you could do a meditation for us to close. I got to get going because I have a Greek festival to go to on a date.
Yeah,
but this has
this
been
particular one,
fun.
Ooh.
this particular one is 15 minutes. If you don't have that much time, I can just guide one on the west.
No, 15 minutes is perfect. That's exactly perfect.
I would end the recording because this is Dr. Joe's content, so we don't put it on to the recording. But before you do, thank you all for this call, and let's continue doing these and meditate and turn this vision into reality. Because I honestly I know I can do this, but I need help. If we do this together, it's going to be so much more powerful. And I've already gotten some momentum, and I could really, if you guys want to come to Miami and make stuff happen, I'd love to have you
All
here.
right. I'm
Thank you.
booking my flight soon.
So. All right.
All right, you
All right.
guys. So I'm going to go ahead and say thank you to all my friends in GEMS. We're going to thank Patrick for being willing to share this vision and his reality of this community house, where we have all these Dr. Joe students with like minds, hearts, and spirits. We're going to go ahead and end the session here because we are going to start the meditation aspect. If you want to join us on the next Zoom call, all you have to do is reach out to Patrick or to myself on Facebook. You can find us easily. You can also reach out to me on my YouTube channel, which you can find at damelillianwalker.com. And Patrick, your last name is Farrell. I just want to give that spelling so that people can find you on Facebook. Patrick Farrell. Does your Facebook profile show you now in Belle Meade or in Miami, Florida, since you just moved to Tennessee? Just so that people can find the right Patrick Farrell.
I think it's right now. My Facebook is as a conference. I can change it, but also, patrickfarrell.life is my Instagram. That's probably a really good way as well to connect with me. So,
do you mind putting it here in the chat? And then what I'll do is I'll put it in the description of the video. I don't know that I'll have time to upload this video today onto the YouTube channel so that I can provide a link. And then tomorrow I'm traveling, but tomorrow evening, because tomorrow I go to the Dr. Joe Marco Island AFU. But I'll do my best in the next 48 hours to get it up. Okay.
Well, that should be also a great way for you to share this vision so that we can get more people on, because you'll actually be with several other students in person. So that'd be great. So
yeah, it'll be awesome. So, okay. So thank you very much, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.